What's up, LB? What's happening? Okay. All right. There she is. What's up? What's up, Shorty? We just setting this up here, getting started. Getting started real soon. That's my guest. Hey, bro, I'm here, bro. What's going on? Chilling. How you living down there? This is IG Live, by the way. Yeah, this is my guest for tonight, Mr. Ach Brightwell. We are about to do a little podcast session, so I'm going IG Live here. All right, 1 second. Let me share this to a couple more people. That's good. That's good to hear. Good to hear. Good to hear. All right. So you said you got no social media access whatsoever. None whatsoever. All right.
Nah, I'm not against it. I just don't.
Just don't do that.
Yeah, I just don't do it.
All right. Just to give you a sense, I'm not talking to myself. This is you see the people. This is my line brother.
Got you.
I'm chatting in. I'm not selling nothing, brother. Good conversation. That's all I'm selling. Good conversation. Good conversation. All right. So, all we're gonna do, like I said, we just chilling on the porch, just chilling, talking.
Okay.
That's all we doing.
Okay.
That's all we doing. So, you can just put on that headset there. And get comfortable. Oh, that's funny to you, bro? I don't know what you're laughing at. Anyway. See, but this is the power of social media. You know what I'm saying? You send it out to a couple people, and voila. You know what I mean? You just made a new friend.
Okay.
This brother here is in Milledgeville right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. So, you know. And then another lady that was here for a second, she's here in College Park, but she was a guest last year. Well, not last year, a year before that.
Okay.
And we had a real banging session. Okay. And now, we're connected on, Instagram and Facebook. So that's the power of social media. You know what I mean? You just make one friend here and there, and then before you know it, you got,
friends
a network.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just that simple. Just that simple. Yeah. Now, let me ask you, is there anything that, that's off limits that we can't talk about?
Oh, no, nothing off limits.
Nothing off limits, okay.
Off limits. I'm like the guy with the pill, Limitless.
Okay. All right. Cool, all right. Now I'm going to switch this here. All right, testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, dog. I know you ain't seen this, but this is the sweatshop right now. This is where all the magic happens. Setting us up, really. This recently took semi-owner of this or whatever, but yeah, this is basically it, bro. Okay. All right, let me see this. Yeah, you know it. All right, let's do a quick mic check. Can you touch your mic up for a second?
Yep, mic check 1, 2, 1, 2.
Perfect. All right. Okay. All right. And here we go. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. What's going on? Welcome to another session of the Ants Game Podcast. I'm your host, Val Honus, coming at you. Glad to join you for another quality session we are going to have this evening. We got a special guest for you. And without further ado, let me introduce him. Tonight, we're talking with Mr. Ach Brightwell out of Atlanta, Georgia. You're from Atlanta, right?
Yes, sir.
Born and raised?
Yep.
Where'd you go to high school?
Harper. Was that a
Yeah,
test?
you're from Atlanta. You're from Atlanta.
Was that
Yeah,
a
we
test?
out. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're speaking tonight with Mr. Ach Brightwell out of Atlanta. Definitely from Atlanta. Fresh out of Harper High School, right?
Yes.
When'd you graduate from Harper?
Say that again?
When'd you graduate from Harper?
90?
90.
Yeah.
So you older than me? I
Don't-
thought you was
don't-
younger than me, brother.
Don't look at me like that.
Huh? I thought you was younger than me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No, I'm older than you.
Oh, yeah?
I guess.
Okay, all right. Not one gray hair on your head.
I got some grays.
Do you?
Grays. Yeah.
Oh, you just, okay, all right, you do that. All right, cool. All right, well, we appreciate you joining this evening. My brother, got a lot of questions, to ask you because when we actually talk, when we speak, we talk in passing because, I met you at work. You work at Tassali's,
Yep.
which is, become a staple in the Atlanta area. And we're
Yep.
going to talk about that too. But tell me a little about yourself. How did you get hooked up with Tassali?
This kind of started years ago. I was really looking into getting a business going in a black-owned business, a black-owned establishment, so that I could get away from really the capitalistic state, of everybody, mostly us black people working in these establishments, and they really taking us for granted, using us, and we get to a certain cap point in there, and it's crazy, man. Like, 'cause I saw the guy from Mango's. You familiar with Mango's? The Jamaican restaurant. They got one Mango's. It's like up the street from Tassali's. Right there, sits on the corner. Mango's is like pretty popular, especially with the Jamaicans. Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, especially with the Jamaicans.
Is it you're not talking about this spot right across from the West End Mall?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I know that spot.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep, man. And he came in there too, and it just seemed to just kind of go 360 all the way back to when I worked out there in Buckhead, and I was just like, I remember standing out there one day and noticing how many of us were coming out there in Buckhead. And this was when I was working at ESPN out there. I'm just kind of...
You worked at that too?
Yeah, I worked at there, yeah. Yeah, I worked at ESPN, Cheesecake. I was around like some Justin's Puff Daddy restaurant.
You worked there too?
When it opened up, 89 and 90, 89, wait a minute, what is it? Not 89, it was 99, 98 and 99.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
98 and 99.
Because it was after Biggie was killed, and then Puff Daddy started coming out here on the regular.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I just noticed how many of us were coming out there, and so, I would always notice that. I come back to my neighborhood, and then it's just like all these places, Popeyes, McDonald's,
churches,
all the crack places in our neighborhood, and nothing of quality. So I don't blame them. If I want to go for someplace nice, I'm going to go out there in those areas too. So I wanted to change that, and lo and behold, it was like after that I started seeing, healthy eating on a bigger stance, and I ended up actually looking for Princess, who was out there in the West End. I had a guy, he told me about Princess. I went to this Kwanzaa event, and he told me about Princess, and I was just like, okay, let me go find this sister. Maybe she'll, let me in, and I'll, show him some, help our business grow. Because I don't know if a lot of people know about Loving It Live in East Point.
No.
that was like my stomping ground, and I actually went to them first, trying to help their business. But Loving It Live has been there for a long time, and there are some other places, but Loving It Live is still there. They're still,
Is it one of those spots on Main Street?
Yeah, it's not too far from East Point, downtown East Point.
Okay.
Yep, it's not too far from there. So, but anyway, I went to. Ended up finding Princess Spot and went there. And Princess is an interesting lady. She just kept putting me off. It was like, I sit for waiting to talk with her for about 30 minutes to an hour sometimes.
One of them type of ladies.
And yeah, right. When so in the midst of that, I noticed this lady had this small little booth over there that she was selling kale out these bowls and stuff, And this was Tassali. So I used to, just kind of come over there and chit chat with her a little bit, and it kind of started to slowly grow from there. I remember telling her, and this is real talk. I told her, I was just like, as long as you're in a field of health, you're in $1 trillion business. You have the potential to have $1 trillion business, because the death industry is continuing to grow. As long as you have like the Monsantos and all these
you
different.
Set it up, the Monsanto, that'll do it.
All these different agents out there. I was just like, people will continue to wake up to want to eat healthy, and change their life around. So I was still trying to get with Princess. And I ended up going to the inauguration out there for Obama.
Okay.
In 2008.
Okay.
And went out there, and lo and behold, we was trailing Tassali out there and her crew. Or I don't know if it was vice versa. But anyway, we were both heading out there, and we ended up out there in D.C. And the people I came with didn't have their stuff together. So I was all living hyped about coming out here and making some extra money. Because I had kind of been separate from working in the corporate field for a while now.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, do some things to make some extra money. So I got out there to DC, and the people who I came there with, they didn't have their stuff together. I was like, oh Lord. So I ended up helping Tassali, who had all the stuff, but she couldn't get it together. So
just like that.
Yeah. So so we went and checked this place called Sankofa's out there. Okay. And people in D.C., they know Sankofa's.
Right.
And Sankofa's is like it's like this vegetarian spot, but they have books and all this stuff in there, and it's like a Starbucks with a library, almost. And so, we was in there and we was talking and stuff, and like, do this, do that, and next thing the conversation went on as if we were working together, and I guess since we were already kind of working together, it just flowed. And it just really just took off from there. We came back from DC, and it was just like the rest was history. So
when did she open up, or when did y'all open up originally?
Well, Tassali, she got the little spot with Princess, but and I think that was like maybe 06, 07, probably the same year, I think. And I met her not too long after that, and I just saw somebody who had all this potential, but things were really scattered, And so everything that I was thinking to do with somebody on a grander scale, I ended up doing with somebody on a smaller scale. You know, and it just goes to show you, like the Most High doesn't need a lot of numbers.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So.
Right. The members versus men.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it was just a few of us, but I mean, you ask anybody from back there, we rocked them, to go into the hair shows, then from 07 to 08, 09, I mean, they had to get us out of the hair shows in a sense because there were a lot of people who were complaining about people standing in front of their booth because they're standing in line to get served from us.
Really?
Yeah. I'll never forget. I estimate, because when I did the first hair show with her, I was just like, yeah, we get like about 10 cases of kale, which is like, I mean, in here it's like, stacks. That's a nice little stack of kale, 10 cases. I was just like, Friday and Saturday, we should rock them out. Within a matter of a couple of hours, we sold out of those 10 cases of kale. And that was like a reality check for me.
That's what's up.
And a nightmare at the same time. But I was used to, she was at an advantage because she met somebody who was addicted to volume. Working in these, if I showed you my resume, restaurants, all the restaurants
Let's
that I
talk
worked
about
at.
it. I mean, what'd you work at?
Well, I opened Cheesecake Factory in 93. Went to California Pizza Kitchen. There's
The one in Buckhead?
Yeah. Yep. The one in.
So you just worked all over Buckhead, pretty much.
Yeah.
The Cheesecake Factory, California Pizza.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. Like, I had been in Buckhead for about 20 years, I think, man. Like, literally. Because at that time, you remember, like, this is before 9/11 and all that stuff.
Right.
So, pretty much, this is the area that really was paying. I mean, I remember walking into places with my resume and the people looking down at all the places I worked from. Planet Hollywood.
You worked there too.
I was downtown. So, yeah. So,
too.
it wasn't all, but, I mean, because I worked in Tilly Mill, Bennigan's, back in the day, and they would look at my resume and see these places. And they would say, looking at all of it and stop at Cheesecake Factory and be like, oh, you worked at Cheesecake. They, like literally would look back up at me. Like, so Cheesecake Factory was kind of like the open the door to a lot of places. I was there for about 3 years, but the volume in there was so ridiculous that people knew it was almost like a boot camp for cooks. Like, oh, you survived cheesecake, you must be
really. It's like that.
Yeah.
Now, are you amazed that they went out of business? This was it this week or this month?
I haven't even really been keeping up with.
Yeah, they went out of business.
Yeah.
Recently.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, again, see, this is to me, it's like, getting back to, people in health. Now, I am a little surprised because I don't know if they went out of business everywhere, but Cheesecake would sell plates. Like you would spend the money and you would look at the money like, man, this is but then you get the food and would be like, oh, okay. It's kind of worth it. So who knows why because I know they, the clubhouse, Lenny Small, where I worked at, Cheesecake and somebody else was trying to outbid them there. And that place was a fine dining restaurant. A couple of people, let's see, who was it? What's the guy who played in the movie with Whitney Houston, the guard?
Kevin Costner?
Kevin Costner. You had, I think, Sylvester Stallone. It was like four big,
that were the main investors?
That were the main investors in the clubhouse in Lenny Small. But they got outbidded. And so I worked at that fine dining restaurant for a while. So, nice little resume. You know?
Yeah, but you've seen everything, the evolution of the restaurant industry in Atlanta, and then, the takeoff of Tassali's, because really, if you look at it, between Tassali's and the other spots that's been opened up around in the Western area, they've revitalized the area.
Yeah. It was actually on its way, which speaks to the power of the people, you know. I mean, because I'm sure being in Atlanta, there's like no area like the West End.
Right.
Right. It's just like
right. Too much history there.
Yeah,
It's history all around Atlanta, but not like
the
West End.
The West End.
Yeah.
From Evelyn, the Muslim brothers that got the drug dealers out the park.
Oh, did they?
Malcolm X Park. Yeah, that's
did they?
Yeah. There used to be a lot of drug dealing going on around there. And it's I can tell you some stories.
I didn't know.
From over there. Yeah, got the drug dealers out. This was, I want to say this was probably this was early 90s.
Okay.
This was early 90s, because I was at Planet Hollywood like 90, I want to say 93. Or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but it was somewhere in that pocket.
Okay.
And that was when this was going on in the West End. Because some people may know Black Casper that was on BET. You remember BET used to have a BET comedy when it was black owned then.
Right.
And it was this comedian named Black Casper. I used to work with him at Planet Hollywood.
Okay.
And I used to go check him over there in the West End. He was from California, but he stayed in the West End over there at the park. And that's where I got Ach stuck with me. With everybody calling me Ach, yo Ach. It's because it was a lot of Muslim brothers that were over there. And for them, it's it's a Hebrew word, but it's translated with a lot of the Islam brothers, Muslim brothers as Ach, meaning brother.
Okay.
And my name is Octavious. So they would shorten it for Ach, and then when they come around and say Ach, I'd be turning around and stuff like. So, but
when you first told me your name, I thought you said Ark. I thought it was Ark for the longest time, and then when I went to Tassali's and I heard people say Ach, okay, I need to switch that around. So it's Ach or OCT, Octavius.
Yes.
All right. I'm learning a little bit more about you. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up. All right, so you pretty much know the ins and outs, because I stayed in the West End for a year, 2007. Yeah, it was 2007. It was right before Obama got elected. So as a matter of fact, I stayed right up the street from Malcolm X Park.
Oh wow.
Yeah, right up the street. I used to jog all around.
Yep.
There, when I was in shape and all that good stuff, but but yeah, I remember, how run down the place was at that time. But then you got the gentrification process going on a few years back, but and it's still going on. But you still see the black folks over there because of, like I said, I think those restaurants, especially Tassali's, has revitalized that area.
Yeah, Tassali's. You had Pinky's spot around the corner, Slutty Vegan,
right? The other place on Lee Street, I go there a couple times too.
Viva La Vegan.
There we go. Viva La Vegan.
A lot of people don't know. Before there was the Slutty Vegan there was a restaurant they called Carbon Star. Some brothers there. This brother and his sister had this establishment there called Carbon Star, and they were really off the chain too. I mean, their food and everything.
Right.
And you got the guys.
The vegan dream. Somebody said the vegan dream.
Vegan dream. Yep.
Okay.
The donuts. I was just finished speaking. Somebody knows what it is.
Okay.
Vegan dream. The donut spot right up the street. And then you got, of course, you got So Vegetarian. Before Tassali got going with her spot, she was across the street from Soul Vegetarian. I forget the name of the place.
Okay.
But I used to go back there. That was when I was checking Loving It Live, and it was this place I found across from Soul Vegetarian that sold these. This was the first time I had a moss anything.
Okay.
And they used to sell hot moss.
Hot moss.
And I used
was
to
it type
love
of sea moss?
Yeah, it was a sea moss. Yeah.
Hot moss.
It was hot moss. Yeah. And I never forget it because every time I drank it, it would start to drain me, mucus and all that stuff, like immediately. I would sit there at the table with a cup, and a napkin and stuff because I know it's going to start making my nose run.
Right.
It was like that.
Right. So, I mean, somebody can actually live over there now and become healthy. They can.
Oh, yeah.
Just by eating out over there.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's magical, man.
Yeah, they have the token name for it now. That street is called the Vegan Mile. Yeah, we token at the Vegan Mile. So that can take off. Yeah, it can.
That can take off.
I actually had a couple of people say that, like, yo, man, we need to invest in, and
that's not hard to do either.
Mm-hmm.
That's just basically just trademarking that.
Yeah. The Vegan Mile, because you have so many spots,
within a mile of each other.
Yeah, and it goes even further, like even on Silver Road, there's a spot.
Who's Jim 8 or Lynn 8? Who's that? I guess it's okay. They mentioned Aquan Chicken.
Aquan Chicken.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, Aquan.
Aquan Chicken.
That's a huge.
Who's that?
I don't know.
All right. Cool. But I mean that can take off though.
Boy, yeah.
That's not hard to do either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, what is I guess what's your aspirations for being over there? I know you're part of the Sealy's team, restaurant team.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to give you business about how much stock you own in them, but I think everybody involved can really. I guess what's your goals for over there?
Well, my goals for over there really was to. It's how it started.
Mm-hmm.
It was like to get with a black-owned establishment.
Mm-hmm.
And watch that grow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Tassali's is what is like over $250,000 business now.
That's amazing to me.
To sit here and be like you were really part of that now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that speaks volume.
Mm-hmm.
To something that I was helping to get established like way back. And Tassali, like she would beat the broom if she was here about how, the things that I did for her and the business, all kind of things. He should pay the rent, when he got a job. Because I did. I went and got a second job to help her out.
Really?
Yeah, at the time, I didn't really, I was floating on trading and stuff like that, So my like from separate from Tassali's, like my focus was in stock market, So I saw that start to build and start to grow, and I just helped her put what I saw the lane was open for, as people continue to grow, to awaken to healthy eating. And eat not even so much as like for me myself, I never wanted to be a vegetarian.
Right.
My thing was, after 9/11 happened, and then I started seeing all the information come out. I was just like, yo, these people trying to kill us. You know what I mean? Like I was just like, not even a color. Mm-hmm. I knew how things were. How this society attacks us. But as far as, these businesses, just, because these were people of all types of nations that were talking about, the secrets, that are right in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really what started the whole journey to looking at the world through a real eye view. And not what we've been taught. That's a big difference.
Right.
You know,
Right.
because we've been taught so many lies.
Yeah, but you're a Hebrew Israelite, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, me personally, I was raised. My dad's a pastor, and on my mom's side, her dad was a pastor. She has a brother that's a pastor. Not to say that that we were raised the right way, but we were raised with God in our life, that type of thing. And although it took me a long time to realize the path to the Most High. Let's put it that way, to the Most High. I just believe the answers have always been there,
Yeah.
They've always been right in front of us. We just have to, I guess, be in that mindset to receive it.
Yeah.
That's just me. That's just me.
It's definitely true. If you had have asked me, years ago, would I be, would I believe? Do I believe in the Bible? I would probably say something like, yes, it's a nice allegory. It's got, it's got a lot of stories that, I think they took from other nations of people and stuff, because I didn't have the research on it, and a lot of what I believe was what I was told from other people that I met outside of church. And it's not to bang on church people,
right?
But when you grow up in the church and you start to ask questions of the obvious that you don't get the answers to, things start to break
right
from there. I think for any person who is really serious on the belief in what the word is saying, once you start researching it out, some of the things that they're saying is not connecting with what you're reading. So that's what began to be a problem for me in the separation between person on the street, who spoke about the Bible, but was breaking down information that the person in the church wasn't giving me. And it's like, oh man,
What used to get me was I had questions, but I felt like I couldn't ask, because when I did ask, I used to get like trash, like what are you, Zealot?
Oh yeah.
Don't go to the left, right, like it says in
exactly.
in the book of Acts, or Timothy. And I'm like, but I got questions though, like just basic questions. Like we had we had this talk before. Well, I called you today. You said you don't do too much on the Sabbath.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, today's Friday. But my question is, why did we go to church on Sundays? The Sunday is not the Sabbath. It says that clearly in the Bible, worship on the Sabbath, but Sunday is not the Sabbath.
Yeah.
To me, it was Saturday.
Yeah.
But now you're saying it's Friday.
No, it's not. It's not Saturday or Friday. It's both of them. Because, again, like, okay, you remember with the Matrix, when Morpheus was talking to Neo, and when he came into the real world, and he was just like, "Why does my eyes hurt?"
Okay.
Because you've never used them.
Right.
That's the problem with us. We've never really used. We've been so policed by the thoughts and stuff that we even tell our eyes that they're lying. So. When you look at the scripture specifically, it's talking about night and day. Night came before day. He said, "Let there be light." Everybody knows that. It's like a common scripture. So before the day, there was the night, and then he specifically says, "Night and day made one day."
Okay.
Completed the first day.
Okay.
So. You speak with most Hebrew brothers and sisters, they know that, they go by pretty much the day being completed with the sun going down.
Okay.
Okay. So that's how you get a Friday starting a Sabbath as the sun is down, into the new day. where the sun comes up, and when that cycle is completed is when that sun is down again.
Okay, so let's say Friday from 7 o'clock to Saturday. Well, I guess you can say Sunday.
Same thing. Same thing.
That would be the Sabbath for you.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah. Well, it's really based upon Jerusalem.
Okay.
Because a lot of this stuff is like where everything took place with us. How when you look at the Bible, and when I say Jerusalem, some people might not connect, us people like Jerusalem, Pakistan, but if I say Zion,
then everybody, right?
Oh, yeah,
right.
You tell them, but they don't know what Zion is. Zion is Jerusalem. You see, that's just something that they took from us, and just like in the Matrix, they kept playing little things. Zion was the place that everybody was trying to get back to.
Matrix is a deep movie, huh?
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. They throw out a lot of little gems and stuff, but it's again, the Wachowski brothers / sisters,
yeah,
take a lot of information from other people. Same thing like the movie 300. They put in your face a white character, playing the history of a black person. So it's just a twist in roles again, because we have some of the greatest stories that were ever told, and what makes them so great is they were real. They were real. Books of Jasher, books of Enoch.
That is a lot of slept on character.
Very slept on.
Yeah,
slept on.
Because he's spoken of a little bit in the Bible, but it's a short, short scripture about it. But, well, I guess I'll be getting too deep if I talked about that. But I guess, what's your view?
Well, I mean, when you talk about Enoch, a lot of times you're talking about like the celestials. Now like we go around all the time. Hey, what's your sign? What's your sign? But we can't tell what the stars and stuff like that. What does it mean and stuff? But you find when you get into a lot of it, it starts to paint a picture for what you're really seeing. It starts to scale back some of the lies because. You think about it, back then, they didn't have what we have now. So how are they doing certain things? How did you know when to go here, and how did you know when to harvest? How did you had to have the knowledge of the clock, the real clock is right above us.
I believe that too.
Everything jumps forward. Because like you talk about spring and summer,
right?
Fall and winter. The first word is an action word, and the second word is what the real season is. You fall into winter, the cold season. And you spring into summer,
right?
The warm season,
right?
These are really two seasons. And just like you have harvest seasons that mirror that, you have things that you plant in the winter to grow.
During the
greens and all kind of things,
right,
that
the spring and summer, right?
Yeah, and you have things that you plant in the summer. So it's so much to our history that I think we've lost as far as everything baited upon somebody else's understanding, where they take your history and reshape it and everything and give it back to you. Right.
That, and they want to keep people in a box because it serves their interests if everybody is sort of scatterbrained.
Ignorance is big business.
Oh, most definitely that.
Ignorance is big
most
business.
Definitely that. But it's just, really, to me, it's just common sense. Like the pyramids. Okay, the pyramids are perfectly symmetrical, and in an order, and everybody knows that. But you ask the average person about the pyramids, and all they're saying, okay, it's a area where slaves built, and I'm like, slaves can't build that, number one. But number two, how do you explain it's in perfect symmetrical order with the stars? How do you explain that?
It's lined up with Orion's belt, as they say.
Right.
Right. Perfectly.
And it's not just pyramids over there. It's pyramids. You go to different parts of the world. It's pyramids. All over the planet.
Yep.
They had to get there somewhere. Just basic questions like that.
Yep.
Well, my man Gino, he's a Hebrew Israelite too. We actually grew up together. Gene, hey, what's going on, brother? This is Ach Brightwell. He, you'll get to know him. You'll get to know him. But this is Gene. Gene, we actually grew up together. Went to the same church, and he's a Hebrew Israelite as well. So, Gene, if you got some questions, brother, hey, chime in. But yeah, I'm saying, just basic common sense questions that people tend not to ask themselves. But I believe that if we ask ourselves more, those type of questions more, then everything will start to make sense.
Yep.
It's just that simple.
Yeah, or at least it would start to beg you to look deeper.
You said shalom.
Shalom, brother. Yeah, so, something like, I remember when I was in the church, and the interesting thing about the church is, once you realize that the Bible is nothing but a history book, and it's not just a history book, but it's ours. It's the biggest thing that's on the planet.
The Bible?
As far as yeah. Okay, think about this. I would like you to just picture in your mind.
Sure.
All the movies that have been made. Hollywood and everything. And on one side, you have movies that have nothing to do with the Bible, nothing at all. And on the other side, you have movies that have something to do with the Bible, be it a little bit or a lot. What side would you think would be with way more, would have more?
That has, one side of movies, one side you have movies that don't talk about the Bible, and the other side you have movies that just refer to the Bible?
Yes.
Well, of course, the ones, to me, because I was raised in that,
Well, you can see it.
Yeah.
You can see it,
But what about, somebody that was born, in Pakistan, or somebody that was born in, Australia?
Well,
would they feel the same way?
Well, they would have to if they view the movies, and if they know the scriptures, if they know what they're seeing, With us coming up, we grew up in churches and stuff like this. So, some of the things were embedded as far as some of the scriptures you see.
They getting into it. You see that? Yeah, just keep on. I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry. Yeah. But go ahead. I'm sorry, brother.
Yeah. So, they get into some of the, some of the scriptures and stuff, well, we do, that's embedded in us, it doesn't really matter, what nation you are. You can't deny it. A lot of people don't know that they're watching things that has something to do with something biblical.
Right.
For instance, The Watchmen. The Watchmen talks about the day watchers and the night watchers. That was the children of the day and the children of the night. We're the children of the day. The children of the night are the angels. Something like Enoch talks about that. How do we know, like the movie, what is it called? The Fallen.
Right.
Fallen with
Denzel Washington.
Denzel, yeah.
And Azazel.
He talks about Azazel. Well, look for Azazel in the Bible.
But see, yeah, and
it's just like, where do you get
He's
this?
in there.
He's in there.
He's in there. But
it's
here's
not
the thing.
The word.
Here's the thing. We hear the name Azazel, we think demon.
Yep.
Okay. But when I do more research, I think alien. You know what I mean? Because here's another common sense question. All right, the Bible, the version we got, we have a translation, right, in English. Okay.
Yeah.
What was the Bible originally written in?
And Hebrew and Greek.
All right, but before that, Arabic.
Well, Aramaic. You talk about Aramaic. Aramaic, and it just gets into another form of Hebrew. You know, it's an earlier form, but as far as your token language, everybody at one point on this earth spoke an unbroken Hebrew.
Right.
A Hebrew dialect.
I believe
There was
that.
as a matter of fact, you look at the history. All right, like say for instance, somebody's talking a lot of junk to you, and they just rattling on it. What you babbling about?
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't understand you. What you babbling about? That came from the whole Tower of Babel, where that language started. And that was the first time you had language being broken.
My question is, okay, and that's another comment. There's so many comments in this question, okay. In the Bible, okay, we read about the Tower of Babel as something that God got involved in.
Okay.
And my question is, was God good in that instance? Was it good for God to break us up like that? To divide us up into different languages?
Yeah.
You think that was a good thing?
Yeah. I don't think it was a good thing in a way that happened. Okay. Because there's nothing like you wanna know what people are saying.
Okay.
It's like you don't know what somebody's saying. You want to know what people are saying.
Okay.
But when it comes to what happened, that was like who wants to be cursed?
Okay.
But that was a curse. You see what I'm saying? So the good was already happening. The people cursed themselves with trying to create a tower to overthrow heaven. Which that was impossible.
See that's why I say we got the translation. I want to read this story in Arabic and see if we get the same beating. Because for me, if everybody spoke as one and build a tower, I think that's a great thing. You know what I mean? To everybody be on one, have one culture, one.
You think about now. You got towers all over the place. Look at 9/11, the Twin Towers. Was that a good thing? It was a trade. It was New York Stock Exchange. They make money hand over fist.
Right. That's
but
just
it's a lot of it's a lot of wickedness going on there.
Right. What if somebody did that to the pyramids? Is that a good thing?
Well, I mean, we're talking about the pyramids versus the towers, though. It's
they're both heavily built type structures.
Yeah.
Built with a knowledge that transcends the average.
Yeah. Yep. And I'm still learning in that area.
Read some of these comments. Yeah. See that? I'm sorry, brother. Go ahead.
I'm still learning in that area. Like people like to say that we built the pyramids, but for me, like literally, I mean, like literally, when you start to look at the information that's available, it'll tell you a lot, So I tend to more lean towards the fact that the pyramids was there before Egypt was, before the token Egyptian were. I believe that's how they came upon it in the first place, because it was the thing that relicked the three mountains or the three hills that Noah referenced when he first came upon land, and had his 3 sons, who at that time were spraying out to different lands. Now, is it ironic or not that the more people research, a lot of this stuff goes back? Okay, for instance, Osiris, being Ham, the deities, a lot of the deities that they made in Egypt were related, where they were relicing their ancestors. And so they would have different names on them, but a lot of them were of Hamitic background. So this, and there's archaeology to prove that, just like to prove that Joseph was over there in Egypt, but he wasn't an Egyptian. So you're talking about 2 different seeds, and Egypt was great after Joseph, because if you think about it, that was the time when Egypt gained most of its power. But they not to say that they didn't have power, but you have people that are giving up basically their livestock, and they're giving up land, giving up all types of, jewels, gold, whatever was the currency then, for the storage of food for their land, because it was a famine throughout the whole earth. Not just throughout Africa. It was, they were going to this particular area to get food. So it was a big thing, and these places where this food was stored was huge. They were literally huge. Like this building, you could drop this building in it, and it will fall. It's just that huge. And so you have, I think it was about 8 different chutes that I counted. I may be wrong. It may have been more. And to see how the information that they're digging up over there shows how the commerce was possible, and they're speculating to some degree. You know what I mean? But how the commerce took place with people. Egypt gained more and more power then. So Egypt was kind of a setup for Battle of the Gods, in my perspective. I've looked at that story several different angles, and I was into Egyptology at one time, but I couldn't understand. There was a lot of questions I had, the further I went into that, because, I would say things based upon what I was understanding, but they were separate from what I was actually reading for myself. So.
Okay. Now, these guys are leaving some interesting comments. Let's see. Elise is saying pyramids were created using a strategy that was unknown to Egyptians. Look at perfection, kingdom knowledge. And she also said they didn't have the voice of God. Remember, Joseph and said BD couldn't translate dreams, but of God would give him the wisdom he would share with Pharaoh. Am I reading that correctly? They didn't have voice of God. Remember, Joseph said BD couldn't translate dreams, but of God would give him the wisdom he would share with Pharaoh. Okay.
Okay. Well, I think what's being said there is was relating to Joseph translating the dreams of Pharaoh then at that time, because he was told, what the dreams were, but these were he was given this gift. He had this gift. Like for instance, before he was taken and sold by his brothers, he had a dream that his brothers were bowing down to him. and it didn't make sense to him. You know, because at that time he was still amongst his brothers. You know, and so coming in after that, and coming back around, they were bowing to him, but as a pharaoh. You know, not knowing. And you think about like how it was set up. Every father that had a son, that son of that lineage was given the blessings. Okay, so when it comes to Jacob, Jacob had 12 sons, but you have a shuffle with all of the wives. The handmaid here was given this, and and back and forth with the two sisters and stuff. But when it finally came to the one who Jacob fell in love with, he had Joseph. Now, is it ironic that Joseph was raised up to some type of kingship still, even though it was 12, and he goes to Egypt and becomes a pharaoh? Okay. I just was that was amazing.
So why do you think that happened?
Because he was that was who Joseph had Jacob had his heart out for was. So
it was true love. That was true love.
That was who he was aimed for in the first place. He was tricked with the other sister, the twin sister. Right. But she didn't have a child until she had Joseph. You see, and so when she finally was blessed with that child, that was who he favored. Stories, and you see, the brothers were a little. Vexed with vexed with Joseph. he was the spoiler.
So they got rid of him, right?
Yeah, he was the spoiler.
But he still rose.
Yeah,
he still rose and came back.
It was all a plan the Most High had, So even looking into tragedies and stuff that happen with us, you never know. Comes around, something starts off being, ugly or something, and you never know. It may be a test for something great coming later on,
Right.
But yeah.
Do you believe in No, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I just felt that was interesting.
That is interesting. Interesting.
It was still that trait was still happening. So. Now
as a Hebrew Israelite, do you believe in reincarnation?
No. I believe in, like the whole thing about Revelations. I think when you die here, that's it. Right. Like there's no, okay, I was here before. Now, I was kind of open. I think that it kind of, like you have a spirit that may carry into like others.
Are you with Camp?
No.
Not with Camp. No, it's not with Camp, G.
No.
Not with Camp. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. You may have a spirit that may carry with some, like you see. Like you got your father's spirit. You got you got your uncle's spirit. Like stuff like that. I definitely believe that's true. I've seen it, but as far as actually reincarnation, no.
You don't believe that? No. Somebody's asking, do you believe in multiple dimensions?
There's definitely a dimension. There's definitely other dimensions. Okay, like you asked me, we kind of got into it talking about the Earth being flat.
Yeah. You're another flat earther. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. But even in that, you're talking about dimensions. And if you're talking about, all right, like I believe most people, without blindly knowing what's going on, they feel something is there. And how can you not believe in dimensions when you can close your eyes, close your mouth, close your ears, and hear yourself talk? You can hear voices. You see what I'm saying? Like, they can tell, like they have, like the rays and all this science that they can tell you when a child grows its arms, its legs, its head and stuff like this. But they can never tell you when the Most High put that spirit in them. They'll never be able to do that. So and we are some of the biggest spirits on the planet.
We as you think people that look like us.
Of course, brother. We are. You put us into something. And we look to dominate it. It's.
No, we do dominate.
Yeah.
We do dominate.
Yeah.
Well, physical wise, we do.
I think it's not just physical wise. Okay, because you think about like the light. Something as simple as that, they couldn't figure out how to get it to stay and contain itself, contain its power, and a black man comes along and shows them that, we have our hands in all kind of things, what you're doing now, it's nothing physical. But it's more or less mental, So, it expands so much, It's a guy, like we're talking about this, about the Earth, the flat Earth. It's a guy named Edward Quinlan who did a pamphlet, and he was a land surveyor.
Okay. And
he did a pamphlet challenging the theory that was being kicked around about the Earth being round in 1906.
Okay.
And there were books that came out before then, but before the Copernicus thing, and that didn't even take off at first. But before that even came into play, that was not a question. You see, it's just like.
But to me, again, I mentioned the common sense thing. All right, we look out at the stars tonight. I can open up this right here, and you'll see that the moon is definitely round.
Yeah.
And the stars, although the stars are farther, you'll see some of the planets. That's why I like being out here, because you can really see.
Yeah, nice.
You can really see stars.
Yeah, you can get.
Yeah, you can really see that. But you'll see some of the planets sometimes too. Like you'll see Venus and Mercury and stuff like that, and they're round. So. What separates us from everywhere else?
Okay. This is the thing here. When we talk about stars, have we really ever seen them?
No.
Exactly.
We just see bright lights.
Exactly. And this is the thing, like, if you really was able to see a star, it would change your perspective about what you think you're seeing.
Okay.
Now our ancestors back then, they could see up there and could tell a lot about these so-called stars.
Okay.
Now I tend to call them planets, like they put the Earth as being a planet.
Okay.
But the Earth is not a planet. And I think the first thing they were doing. I think the first thing they were doing is.
No, don't throw you off. I just want to see. I just want to see what they say.
Yeah.
Now go ahead. Go ahead, though.
Look.
Go ahead.
I think the first thing that they were really looking to do is get people's mind state away from the Most High.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And I want you to just think about this, because when you put things past what these people have done, you underestimate them. It's like, oh, you're giving them too much power. No, you're confused at what they've already had the power to do.
Okay.
You underestimate them. I don't have to get, the Most High gave, Satan's spirits here a lot of power already.
Okay.
It says, the scripture, we battle not with flesh and blood,
but principalities.
Principalities. So if you're talking about a prince, you're talking about something of royalty, something of great magnitude in high places. High places. That doesn't seem like here. You see. So there's a lot more going on here than what we know, and with these spirits, they know, and they have these people that are working along with them. It's like to get you away from the planet thoughts of the Most High being right above you, near to you, not far off, as we would say, but to do that, get you to think that there isn't a God out there, there isn't another a higher creation that can create all these things, to get you even thinking that maybe you did this. You're the creations and stuff, or the Big Bang Theory, evolution. We evolved, into these species. As long as this is going on, as long as there's some confusion going on in that circle, then it gets you away from the understanding that there is a Most High Creator. Okay, so what's one of the ways of doing this? To get you to visualize you're not planted as everything is, because you have only two things on the table, just like the red and blue pill. You got two things on the table here.
Proton, electron, positive, negative.
A lie and the truth.
Right.
Somebody's lying here. Exactly. Exactly. Somebody's lying.
Yin and yang.
Yeah. So,
but it's in everything.
Exactly. But we got to find out, what is it? Okay, because on this side, you have a sun that you're rotating around with other planets. Okay, that we haven't seen. Okay.
Well, outside, we do see them.
No, I'm saying outside of the lights that you look up and see. You know what I mean? But visually, most common people have not seen, like the star, the planet Mars. Or
I've seen the planet Mars.
You've seen the round. You've actually seen the planet.
It's a reddish, through a telescope. But I've seen it.
Okay, I'm not talking about the light now. I'm talking about you actually see the planet, like you can see the rocks.
Well, of course not. But like I
see,
said,
that's what I'm talking about, though. That's what I mean, as far as the actual real planet versus what they show you on these websites. Okay, what I mean, what NASA and all these other entities have put out.
Right.
They pay. Man, they pay goo-wobs of money. Like I said, ignorance is big business.
Right.
It is bliss, but it's big business. One thing I used to wonder about, the astronauts and stuff, is just why when they take off into the ships, why they don't just go straight up? Why do you never see them? Show me a picture where they actually went into the clouds and just went straight into.
I have thoughts about that too.
You'll never see it.
Yeah,
you'll never see it. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist because there is no getting outside of this planet. But see,
you don't think so? Really?
Well, again, you have the two variables here. The lie and the truth. again,
these folks are. These folks are.
I know they probably.
You read it? All right. Jim 8 is saying, "What's the proof of the other so-called planet?" Gene is laughing, and Jim says, "The tree of life and the tree of good and evil." Mm-hmm. And he's saying you'll never see that pic. Well,
what pic?
Yeah, what pic, Jim? What pic you talking about? Proof of another planet, or what NASA? What were we talking about with NASA? Oh well, I guess he'll add it in eventually, but yeah, I mean,
yeah, and that
course,
may be what he's talking about.
Think so?
That NASA. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, like I said,
but it is some very smart people that's a part of NASA. Like, of course, we know about. You can say they probably, a few of them probably demonic because, a lot of them came from that German camp when, we raided Germany. Well, the U.S. raided Germany in the 40s. Mm-hmm. And pretty much, those scientists, those doctors took NASA to another level, right?
Yeah. A lot of them would
Operation Paperclip. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Operation Paperclip. Mm-hmm. Operation Fishbowl.
Now, what's that? Fishbowl?
Whole thing about the Antarctic and the Earth itself. Mm-hmm. I mean, you look at the names of some of these things, and like how they have that stuff hidden. We know the Arctic as the Arctic Circle,
right?
Mm-hmm. Why is it the Arctic Circle? Why is it that all of the flags that we have, the Arctic has a picture of the continent on it, as to make you see the continent as this small, funny shaped snow area and not the actual Arctic Circle. It's like, you look at it like, okay, the flag, it looked like if they call it the Arctic Circle, it would be more shaped like a circle. Mm-hmm. Where did they get the name from? Ask yourself that. Mm-hmm. Where did they get the name from if you're looking at the flag and it looks nothing like an Arctic Circle? Mm. Where did they get the name from? Why? It's so many questions, man, that, when you start to dig into it with an open mind, mm-hmm. The answers will come back to you.
I believe that.
You see what I'm saying? Like, the answers will come back to you, and see, this is the thing here. They'll confirm what the Most High has already put in place, mm-hmm. You know what I mean, versus what this satanic world has put in place. Mm-hmm. Because in order for the satanic world to keep going with what it does, it has to keep the layers of lies going. See what I'm saying? Like, they teach your kid, 2 plus, 1 plus 1 is 2, and they put that global Earth in the classroom. Mm-hmm. That's the first, but you look on the bottom of those globes, mm-hmm. and under it, most of them, if not all of them, mm-hmm. they have this little sticker on there that says not for educational purposes. Mm-hmm. So, mm-hmm. What's the game? Like, again, it's like Dick Gregory used to say, it's the games. We don't need to fight with each other.
That's true.
Over what is truth. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Like, don't take my word for it. Go do. That's what I did. I didn't. The first time, it was one of my best friends, and when he first brought this information to me and stuff, I was kicking at him too. It's like, bro, what you talking about? I picked up a basketball and palmed it, and you know what I mean? It's just like, these are the quarters, brother. And it's the difference between quarters and corners. Mm. There's some people say, man, I've been in a plane and I've seen the curve, bro. You know what I mean? Like, but factually, the Earth has to curve at some particular point. So you wouldn't be able to see certain areas after a certain point. Mm-hmm. There are tons and tons of videos. You can go out and do it yourself. You know, get your high-powered telescope. You know, that's what was going on in Chicago. I can't remember the area, but somebody posted it and was saying like, "Yo, I should be able to see such and such," you know. And it got wind on the news, and they said it was a freaking hologram. Like the dude is shit. The way they spin stuff to you, you ought to be insulted. You know what I mean? Like, you know, did you just piss on me and tell me that?
Well, I mean, yeah, you're right about that. You know, as far as I guess we're both in a position where have you left the country?
No, never left.
I left. My family's Jamaican, so pretty much the only place I left the country for is Jamaica. But the goal is to go all around the world. And see this for myself, and then I would know, to finally
keep your gyroscope.
Gyroscope.
Yeah.
What's that?
Gyroscope. It's it'll. The thing with a gyroscope is it points to the North Pole. Okay. So you get your
compass, just a regular compass.
Just a compass. Okay. You see what I'm saying? But you can't just do a regular compass. You know what I mean? Like do your gyroscope compass, because this is the thing here. When you're on those planes, if you don't get like a rollback, with the gyroscope, that answers a lot of questions for you. Because if you're here, north is here, and you're flying here, the gyroscope is going to tend to go to stay straight. You see what I'm saying? You're going to be shifted, but the gyroscope, so when you're looking at it, the gyroscope will be shifted. You see what I'm saying? Actually, it's not being shifted, it's just staying balanced. And you're turning if the earth is round. You see what I'm saying? So that's the difference between us living in a circle, and planted with everything going around us. Now, I know you've seen the fast-paced videos that they show of the stars, and it's almost like a spinning with the North Star still. If we're on a globe spinning, how is all these things in order that way? You see what I'm saying? Like some things just like, it just really doesn't make sense. It's like, that does beg me to ask a little bit more. But if you're planted and everything's spinning around you, it does make sense. Even the sun, they want to say it's like millions of miles away, but you do some mathematics on that, and as far as
it's like how you really know
mathematics.
Yeah, because if you get close to it, you burn up, right? So that's what they say.
It's easy to tell. I mean, because this is the thing here: creation wasn't a mistake.
Well, no, right.
You see what I'm saying? So, like, our melanin was not a mistake. I mean, you got all these other nations wish they had. And it's just now being put, like on that pedestal. They're trying to take our black women away from us and, do all these interracial movies and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Even though, in reality, it doesn't even go down like that. But let them tell it. It's going on everywhere. You see, again, this is how they try and paint the picture. Most brothers I know, they checking for sisters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's just how it's been. You get that one or two every now and then, but, and vice versa, so, but,
but again, to me, it's just common sense again, because, I know, I guess overall, well, I want to say overall, but it is a scientific fact that, this particular vessel, scientifically is the top of the chain.
Collects the melanin.
Yeah, it's the top of the chain. If I wasn't made with with somebody of a paler complexion, then my seed be weakened. It's just a fact.
That's a fact. I forget her name, but that's what she was talking about, like the chessboard. Where you have the black and the white, and it's just a fight for dominance.
Yeah.
In that, because that particular seed is looking to preserve itself. Mm-hmm. It's almost the same spiritually. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because when you talk about these spirits, they have a certain time. Mm-hmm. This may seem like this has been going on forever. This is never going to end. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But there's a difference between 6,000 years versus eternity. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's a big, a huge difference between that. Yeah. And you notice as the time progresses, it gets faster and faster. Mm-hmm. Yet still, and most people know that. Mm-hmm. You can tell. Even though you can look at a second and see it's the same second, the same minute, the same hour. So there's something else here. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? In order for that to even take place like that. I mean, you blink and you're at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I can only, even with the pandemic, and I thought that was going to slow stuff down.
Right. But it's already November.
it's November.
It's already November.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Gene, you said something there. Yeah, we don't need to fight over politics either. Yeah, that's true. And it's funny, speaking of politics,
oh boy.
Yeah, let me get into a little bit. I'm holding in my hand. All right, I'm gonna let y'all see it. I'm holding in my hand an absentee ballot. Hold on a second, let me pull it up. All right. How many of y'all filled out one of these in the last couple of weeks? I got mine. Did you vote?
Yeah, I voted.
I voted too.
I voted a long time ago. I voted for us.
Okay.
People.
All right.
But as far as this system.
No participate, huh?
No, there's nothing to participate in. Mm-hmm.
But what do you think? What do you think about what happened this week? What do you think about that?
You got
Peacock, the world famous P. We got a comedian in here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Peacock.
You got the.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No worries. You have your delegates in the particular districts that vote based upon that district.
Okay.
Your vote goes to the delegate of that area. So this is how the 13th electoral votes work. Meaning that, say for instance, if all of us voted for the blue state, for Democrat.
Okay.
Whoever the Democrat was. If the delegates in your area that you don't know that you're really voting for are persuaded more so upon Republican because that's that particular district, and that's what the majority is ruling with the delegates, not with the voters, not with the tons of Democrat votes that are coming in. The delegates in that particular district are Republican. You're going to get a Republican vote out of there. So at the end of the day, all those Democrat votes didn't matter. If you look at, something as like, what took place with Trump. That should be like the red flag,
With this
like, okay, yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
man, listen.
But
no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's not. It's just not enough for people. You're giving the illusion that you're given a choice.
Right. If people paid attention to what went on this week, no matter what side you voted for, you can see that, man, something is wrong.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
but it's happened so many times, though.
Yeah.
Like, this is the thing. They count on people forgetting.
Uh-huh.
That's just like with the killings that take place with us.
Uh-huh.
We're at war here in this country, but they count on us forgetting. We'll rally, we'll do this
and
for
we
a
do.
minute.
A lot of people do. I mean, I don't,
and then
but a lot of
after
people
a while, do. Yeah, but the majority of people do. You know what I mean? It's just like oh, come on, man. Let's kind of get away from this whole thought process. Let's get away from reality. What the cipher wanted to do, even though he was awakened to everything that was going on in the Matrix. He chose the Matrix. It's just like plug me back up. But he didn't know he was. There's nothing to go back to.
He's a willful slave.
Well, there's nothing to go back to. You're basically volunteering to death. Death is what's coming for you.
Yeah.
In that sense, it's one thing to not be awake. And that's I think in a small sense, real talk, man. I think that's why some people choose not to become aware. They're comfortable with it. I don't want to be responsible. You see what I'm saying? I don't want to be responsible for what I know now.
Yeah.
I'd rather go along, like you talk to somebody about eating pork. Hey, man, look, bro, I'm going to eat my pork sandwich.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They be slapping it up right in your face. No, yeah, I hear you.
Right. Right.
But but then, mess around here and get a situation, where you're getting heart failure or something, and that same person come to you, now you want to listen a little bit. Now you starting to open up a little bit. Sometimes a lot of us are not gonna start to open up our eyes to what's really going on here until it really hits the fan here.
Right.
And there is no other choices.
Right. But I hear what you're saying. You're speaking metaphysically.
Yeah.
But let's speak, I guess in the physical sense with, like I said, what went on this week with Trump versus Biden. You're not on social media at all, right?
No.
I pay attention to. I'm on the Instagram, on the Facebooks.
Okay.
I watch the YouTube videos and stuff like that.
Okay.
I'll tell you what was disheartening. It was disheartening that people, number one, got so emotional about both candidates. And it was disheartening when people saw what was going on, the manipulation of the rules, per se, that I guess because of people's hate, because one side hated another candidate, they felt that, okay, I see it's dirty stuff going on, but it's okay. So we can get that dude out of office, or we can get this dude in office, or we can get this dude that's running for office away from us. I just think that's so disheartening because I'm like, if you didn't vote, that's fine. If you did vote, that's fine too. But you open up a Pandora's box here. You know what I mean? If you let the corrupt stuff going on.
Okay.
If you let the corrupt stuff go on, because you talk about they bank on us not remembering. I remember in 2000 with the election, with George Bush and the vice president Al Gore, and how they had to go to Florida to decide the election, but who was the governor of Florida? George Bush's brother.
His brother.
And what happened? The election was tampered with, and the people didn't care. A certain side didn't care because they wanted George Bush in office by any chance. I guess by whatever it takes.
Well, it was open. A lot of information got out there. When again, what you're not seeing is what's really happening. You know, when these districts are really the ones that are calling the shots. You know, once you get away from the 13th electoral votes and what it really does, you get lost in the sauce with everything else.
Right.
You get lost in the sauce, and it'll have you going back and forth because Democrat or Republican is the same bird. You know, that it'll never change. You know, it's like being you have that's the outer layer of the inner circle. You, if you get what I'm saying,
yeah,
you know what I mean. That's the outer layer of the inner circle. So the inner circle, you know, they're in there together and they're controlling what's going on in that outer circle. You know, and it's like that pyramid that it just keeps going down from layer, you know, to layer. You know, and you know, a lot of times, really, the farther you get away from these politics and stuff, you know, they call them politricks. You know, the closer you have the opportunity to get into, you know, really what's going on with life, because this ends up being a distraction. You know,
a big distraction, big time.
And when things really jump off here, because we have no control over what they do.
Right.
You know.
Right.
We literally have no control.
Right. That's what
they do. You know, I don't know how long it was when the Guidestones were put here in Georgia. You know, but why do you have the Guidestones here? You know, talking about population control. You know, that's not that you know, that wasn't just by coincidence. Oh, let's do this. You know, I mean, we just, you know, it's just something we're thinking about. You know, we're not going to really do it. You know, and by the way, let's just put it in every language. You know, so it's in French. It's in, you know, it's even in Hebrew. You know, it's just got all the you know, several different languages on there. You know, so the average person comes and can read that. So, you know, that's why I mean, like, you know, it's a bigger plan here. A lot of people don't seem to understand. Okay, like where does the elections take place?
You said, where does it take place?
Yeah, where does it? You know, the inauguration when you
right, DC.
DC. Is DC a part of the United States?
No.
Again, what are we talking about? You see what I'm saying? But let them tell you that, and most people would not be privy to that, even that understanding. They will look at you like
or don't
you're
care.
crazy. Or don't care. But they will look at you like you're crazy. What they do is they make all their laws and all these things on this private, you know, private district in Columbia, and then they send all these delegates out back into their states, you know, to carry out, you know, and it's like they're minions, you know, to do their bidding,
right? You
know, but over here you have DC that is a different. It's not a part of the United States. So if it's separate, what's going on with it then? Why is everybody, you know, why are you not looking at that and saying, okay, you know, well, how can we say that this is the president here, but he's not being inaugurated, you know, with, you know, I mean, I could go into that whole thing like inauguration and stuff. Basically, you have a lot of witchcraft taking place right in front of you, you know, and we're numb to it like Halloween.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? We're numb to it, you know, but yet and still everything with them is status quo. You know, that these things are getting greater and greater with them, you know, as the wickedness increases here. So why aren't we looking at that and saying this should be a president of our choice, who knows the people,
mm-hmm.
and we know him,
right,
or her,
mm-hmm.
and from there, they should be somebody that's voted in on our turf,
mm-hmm.
on our land.
Mm-hmm.
DC is not your land. That's, it's separate. It's a part of, when you look at DC, DC has 3 stars.
Mm-hmm.
The 3 stars stand for the 3 powers which it encompasses.
Legislative.
London.
Oh, okay.
District of Columbia.
Okay.
And the Vatican.
Okay.
These are your...
That's what they stand for.
Yeah. That's what those 3 stars stand for. Those 3 stars have nothing to do... DC is not a part of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
London is not a part of Europe. And,
of course, the Vatican runs the world. Yeah.
Yeah. Say, all of them, is it a coincidence that all of them have an obelisk
mm-hmm.
in each
part?
Yeah, in each middle. Part, right there in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
This is the whole, this is the whole private circles that are going on, that are running when you have the Vatican, which is like the spiritual part.
Mm-hmm.
You got London, which controls the banks.
Mm-hmm.
Rothschilds and all that. You trace that back straight.
Right, 13 families.
Exactly.
Stars in the flag. Yeah.
Okay, and then when you get to here,
mm-hmm.
This is the military.
Right. Right.
Right.
So, well, let me ask you this. Okay. Well, obviously, you want to see change. Okay. What do you? Well, I guess what's your plan for us as a people to change? What do you want to see?
Well, I just.
Well, how do you? How do you see us getting there?
I see us getting there in the sense that we wake up to our history.
Mm-hmm.
Because the biggest thing with this is they can't continue with this plan into the future
mm-hmm.
forever.
Mm-hmm.
This is already something that kicked off
mm-hmm.
a long time ago. Separate and apart from what we have the illusion of that's going on now,
mm-hmm.
I just hope that we actually start to stir ourselves back into the history. And, me being a Hebrew,
mm-hmm.
I came into this after getting into Pan-Africanism.
Mm-hmm.
I had brothers who was Islam. I could tell you, I wasn't in that West End circle for nothing.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Rastafarians that I grew up with, that I grew herb with, Egyptology, mm-hmm. even Ifa, and there was always some holes,
mm-hmm.
It wasn't until I understood what the book was really saying,
mm-hmm.
and how this really played out for us. Everything makes sense. Because I always wondered, why are we going into why did this happen? It's just like the ongoing answer. Everybody got, you gods and goddesses. Well, how did we lose our power?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So this was what started me looking back into that, because again, this is ours, and if it's something that powerful, it would be something that would be close to you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of us don't know that we're more than likely Judah here.
Okay.
Tribe
of Judah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of us don't know, that we're more than likely Judah here. But you look at what what has taken place with us as a people. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, to me, hip hop was like the peak. Everything now is kind of like a furbished version of the pure form of hip hop, you know. But hip hop, was like one of the biggest things to hit the planet. You know, that was something that we took as nothing that made into something. That's huge. Right. You know, when you got some place like North and South Korea, and that's how they connect, through B-boy, you
most
go
influential musical, not just music form, but culture.
Yep.
In the world.
Yep. And you look at the things we do, the style, this and the third, man, it's just like it's so broad. How we affect people, I mean, like you talk about swag, you take us out of the equation and it's this thing would be flat. Right. It would just, you take us out of commerce, out of the spending, what I mean? Like we pull our dollars out and stuff. This thing would just, it would just flop, right. And it's because we don't understand that, we are that chosen people. It's identity theft, and it's the theft of the land, and blind to who we are. You see what I'm saying? You got all these other. They're not sitting at a round table trying to figure out is he Muslim? Is he Christian? Because if you look up, these are religions. You look up Israelite, it's a people. This in Israel.
It's either you are or you're not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they're not confused about that. They never were. That's the problem here. They never were, So that's how you have, when you look at the music, even the hip hop itself, who controls the record labels? The Jewish people.
Yeah. But I mean, whose fault is that though?
It's what I'm saying is we don't control that. Now they come in and infiltrate everything. Okay, so like if you say like whose fault is it? Whose fault was it when we had Black Wall Street? You see what I'm saying? Whose fault was it? It was not our fault. You see what I'm saying? Because again, you have.
You don't think it was our fault?
No. How could it have been? We are not. We are in control in that area. That's
see that I don't know the full story of Black Wall Street. I just know a lot what they accomplished.
Yeah, because they bombed the area.
Yeah, my thing is, okay, Rosewood. I know the specifics of that.
Okay,
they got attacked again, and they lost
again. Right.
But it's been certain instances. There's been a lot of instances where we pretty much destroyed ourselves.
Yeah, I'm
made the wrong choice.
I'm not saying that we don't.
Prime example. I grew up here. I've been here since I was 3 years old. Okay. And I grew up around the Camden Road area. Well, that's where my dad's church was.
Okay.
I remember in the 80s when that whole area was booming. Do you remember that? It was very prosperous. And what happened? We started to make the wrong choices as far as letting the drugs and the crime infiltrate that area. Of course we didn't put it in there. I mean, we didn't bring the drugs to there. But I guess the drug dealers took the product and put it in there, and we let them. In other words, we could have said, "Nah, y'all need to go somewhere with that." Like the Muslims ran out you said the Muslims ran out the drug dealers in Malcolm X Park?
Yeah.
We could have done that with Camden Road and areas like that.
Yeah.
We could have done that, but we didn't. Yeah. Another thing is, I go back to slavery. Me personally, I know I'm a part of the Ashanti tribe in Ghana.
Oh, okay.
Because, that's where a lot of Jamaicans, they're Ashanti.
Mm-hmm.
What happened? Tribal wars. And the ones that got captured, which is, my ancestors, were sold to the white men.
Mm-hmm.
That was brought over here.
Mm-hmm.
We chose that. When we created hip hop and didn't come with a plan to monopolize it, I didn't really think about that. But other people did. Other people outside the culture did. We let them come in and infiltrate and do, and they did what we should have done. We chose that. My point is that we need to stop looking out and blaming other folks that successfully infiltrated our culture and really look inside and say, okay, how can we prevent this from happening again? Prime example, the whole concept which I got over there, what we have over there in the West End with the vegan mile. We don't need to let nobody else come in and take over that. You know what I'm saying? The heads, at this point, the heads of those restaurants need to come together and say, hey, we got something here. How can we keep this, in the family?
Mm-hmm.
How can we, keep outside forces, which are going to come? How can we keep those outside forces from infiltrating what we got here?
Right. There has already been some talk because...
Excellent. What's going on?
Well, this is the thing here, we have a lot going for ourselves, you know what I mean? But, we can be the hardest to work with each other. You know what I mean?
I do.
But again, see, this is why, I understand that these were curses. Because in order to...
I don't think it's a curse, but...
Well,
if it's a curse, we chose that curse, but go ahead.
Yes, we did.
Uh-huh.
Yes, we did. I mean, because, if you were given the gift of these things, but then it's like something keeps happening. Just like, what is that? It's something that it's in a realm, like you was asking me earlier, do I believe in different dimensions? There are things going on in dimensions that we do not see, that are working against us, and we don't know how they are. You see? Once we figure out how they're working against us, then we can work to conquer those dimensions. Conquer that in those dimensions, so that we do get ourselves in alignment with a true pathway, because the pathway we're dealing with with each other. It's not a secret, you know what I mean? It's a challenge with us, from growing up in a home where, everybody came to the table at the same time, to, seeing the scatter box thing going on with two people out on a date watching their phone. Just like, what? What is that? You don't even, right across from each other, it's a different element. Now, and it's not by coincidence, you know what I mean? We're dealing with this social distancing crap going on.
Right.
Now, where, at first you were looking at people strange, putting a mask on. Now they're looking at you strange if you don't have a mask on. It's, and what, based upon what facts? What fact do we have that the virus does not transfer through a mask, when bacteria can get through a mask? And it's 1,000 times bigger than a virus. You know, those are facts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a bacteria and virus are two different sizes. You know,
when you pass gas, you know, it gets through your pants.
So, you know, a virus as small as it is,
mm-hmm.
you know, getting into your system, if your immune system is not incorrect,
mm-hmm.
you know, and this is again where, you know, they you know, the infiltration goes back, you know, because I know you can probably remember as a kid, you know,
mm-hmm.
growing up, it was a thing to get tonsils taken out.
Right.
It was a thing, you know what I mean? Like, you know, they would say they'd feed you ice cream, you know. Okay. The tonsils are basically your Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines of
mm-hmm.
your body.
Mm-hmm.
That's what controls the defense. Your tonsils are in so much control that when you pop something in your body, the tonsils is just like, how in the heck did it get here?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? You know, because the tonsils, if you know what tonsils do, tonsils basically invite viruses in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, invite bacteria. Everything is, hey, come this way. Come, you know, come right down here, you know what I mean? And we're going to analyze you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're a danger to us. So what we're going to do is we're going to find out what kills you. And we're going to form the bacterias in this body to kill you off. So as you're on your way down there, we got something for you. You know what I'm saying? Hold tight. Hold tight. Tonsils are a threat to anything else that enters the body violently.
Mm-hmm.
You take that out.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now you have other things that you have to rely on, you know, and that's not like it's the only defense, but it's the biggest defense, you know, because it sends the signals out through the body,
mm-hmm.
you know, of what to do. Hey, we got a threat here, you know, this is what we need, you know, and the body starts to build the bacteria. So by the time it comes there, it's a fight,
mm-hmm.
you know. So that's the level of intelligence
mm-hmm.
that the Most High has put, you know what I mean, like in your body.
Right.
You know, and then he gave you the breath. And they want to take that and put it on a mask and have you, you know, basically go inward. For instance, if you hyperventilate,
mm-hmm.
what's the thing they do? You know, they give you a bag and get you to balance out your oxygen
mm-hmm.
by bringing it down with your carbon dioxide.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they get you to breathe in your own air so that you can balance that down. Okay, that's to balance it out. But you breathe that in all day. Now you're starting to infect your brain.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there was two incidences at Tassali's.
Okay.
A young girl passed out. We saw her. Man, I saw her. She was hyper with her moms and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing you know, she starts standing there and feeling a little dizzy. Her eyes go back and she passed out. Right after that, this guy passes out.
At the same time?
Around the same time. Basically, we had two people in there at the same time. It was hot in there.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
It was hot in there, and they got masks on.
Oh.
You know, that's why they had to change that law about people working out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
With the mask on?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's impossible. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy when you see people on a bike with a mask on.
Yeah.
You know, it's just all kind of crazy stuff, you know what I mean? But just the fact that you even wearing a mask and it's not, you know, okay, in these facilities where people wear hazmat suits,
mm-hmm.
they look nothing like what we got. They're fitted. You see what I'm saying? Everything is fitted versus, you know what I mean, like these masks and stuff, you know, and then there's nothing they're protecting as far as their hazmat suit. Everything is inward as far as you getting fed oxygen or whatnot. This is not what we did. And if you were in a real situation, where this was actually real, you would see homeless people all over the street.
Yeah.
What's going on with them when they have the worst hygiene areas? No sanitizers. No sanitizers in place.
The plants. You don't see the plants dying.
It's they're taking you, and putting you into a state. Where and the first test was the tissue. You look at how these people move.
That's disturbing in itself. People fighting over
tissue,
toilet tissue.
What is the tissue going to do? If anything, people should have been, talking about what herbs and stuff. Not to say that it didn't happen, but it's somebody just got pulled over. Not that it didn't, it doesn't happen, or it didn't happen, but again, it's what most people listen to. Like you hear more common people leaning this way, fighting over tissue. Like I remember I got home and my roommate was just like, she's an elder lady. She doesn't really know. I tried to, wisen her up, but she's just like, stuck. You get people that just get so stuck in the ways and stuff. And she's on top of that, she's part of the fraternity.
Is she?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which one?
What is it?
AKA?
AKA. Yeah. And, they're so gone in this system, that they think that it's still hope. It's like, the wife beater that doesn't, realize that, she needs to get away from that man that just keeps beating her. He's beating her and then turns around and say, I love you. Well, your actions speak louder than words. The actions of this country should speak louder than the words
that they give. Most definitely. But like I said, again, I refer back to what y'all got going over there. Now I know you're not, part of the ownership. Is it just Tassali that owns it outright? Or does she have investors?
Well, she definitely has some people who have invested. Me myself, I've invested. So
you have actual stock in the
that she hasn't got to that part where she actually has stock open up. Private to, of course, the people there before you go public. She hasn't got to that point yet.
Well, this is what I guess I'm gonna get on you now that I know you. Okay. You need to be getting some, something from out of there too. Not necessarily waiting on her to offer you stock, but this is where you're an entrepreneur. You got to put your entrepreneur wig on, okay, and ask yourself, okay, how can I benefit from this? What type of business can I start inside of working there? Like, I'm just throwing it out there. You meet everybody up there, right? Yeah. Do you keep their contact? Do you keep their contacts and all that good stuff?
Well, yeah. To a certain degree. I'll be honest with you. At first, before coming into the understanding of who I was, this was, this type of networking was all I was about. It's just like, let's build, let's talk, But not to say that doesn't still go on and that doesn't even have its place in this realm, But what's more important to me is helping us wake up to understanding who we really are. Get into the scriptures, understand it for yourself, not for something that somebody's told you. You look at something as crazy as like a Christmas tree. How in the world is it that that's something that's spoken about right there in the scriptures, But you ask somebody in the church about that, and it's, brother, this, and they dismiss it, and that's the problem with the church foundation.
I hear. So you want to monotonize those type of talks?
Yes.
That's what you want to do.
To me, that is more relevant, because we can do this all day, but the fruits are ripe, and who are the pickers?
Maybe you should start a podcast now.
Maybe I come back and
brother, because like I said, because here's the thing, because this is how real wealth is built. Okay, where you just have not just one person, that's getting wealthy. Is you got one person being a leader now, no doubt, but you got shareholders. You know what I'm saying? Different shareholders, and when that entity rises, and everybody
rises. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm be getting on you about that because you know what I'm saying. That's a perfect opportunity, man. Because I really respect what y'all got going on up there.
Well, don't think it hasn't been a token conversation. I mean, come on now. I was trading stocks before I knew Tassali. And to be honest with you, I'm more as far as my own business. That is a big interest for me. And I've always talked about helping us with understanding finance. What really runs the circuit of I would say the core of money transactions. It goes to the foreign exchange. This is pretty much what between there and the stock market. These are pretty much what determines the value of your currency that you're spending.
So you're deep. You're a deep thinker. Yeah, I see that's your style.
Yeah,
that's your style. I just want to see you. You know what I'm saying? I just want to see another brother. Get rich. You know what I'm saying? And not just because it's not about the money. You know what I mean? It's what you can do.
Right.
Once the money is out of the way, and you can really focus on, on that.
Yeah, and I have nothing against riches. It's for a period of time. You know what I mean?
It's all through the Bible. It's all through the Bible.
Yeah, Abraham was rich.
Everybody, the most significant figures, all of them were wealthy.
Yep.
All
Solomon.
of them.
Yep.
Especially Solomon.
Yeah.
Especially Solomon.
Yeah.
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 Maybe you can introduce a product. You can partner with somebody that's producing a product. You can get that in the store.
Yeah.
You ever thought about that?
Yeah, I thought about that. I actually I helped to get a lot of things in there. And I look back okay, I didn't really, how sometimes you get so caught up in helping somebody that if these things aren't in place, you can be setting your own stuff up. You look around and you don't have anything, and
you got something.
No, I'm just saying, I've seen that.
Right.
I ain't gonna call names and stuff. You know what I mean? But I've seen that. Where people don't set themselves up right. I got her business license, but I didn't get my business license. You see what I'm saying? So coming in the door with that, because I was so, it was like I was focused on what she was doing at the same time. I was still in the market. I was a freshman then. And to me, at that time, this can really make some money. Yes, yes. When I leave that conversation, all right, bro, what we gonna do about this? You know what I'm saying? We talk some big bucks over here.
Right.
Numbers is just crazy over here. And over there, I still had to go through a phase of learning how to trade, and that was, I didn't know how long that journey would be, then at that time. Just like over here, helping a business grow. You're talking '07, at the peak of '08 was when it was like, ready to take off,
because you was there like, you said, well, let me ask you this. How long did it take y'all to really take off? From the time you first opened up that location over there?
You mean the location we're at? Oh man, we was already we had already taken off.
Yeah,
we had already taken. We took off.
Well, okay, how long did it take you to take off? Let me ask you that.
I would say a few months. A few months, because again, like I said, she had some things in place. She just didn't have it set up, and I had some ideas, as well, to benefit, the business. I'm going to put things out there, because, you gotta look, how people, you get so far away and you kind of, lose track of who did what.
Okay.
If you don't have that on paper. But there was some things I brought to the table that if I had that on paper, I would be making paper from that.
What you bring?
Well, let's just say, it makes a lot of money.
Okay.
But yeah, it wasn't just a system. Because that the establishment, I would say that opportunity needed structure.
So you brought the system.
Yeah. So the structure was what I helped to put in play.
From your years' experience at different locations, you just took a little bit from this, a little from that.
I knew a lot from these places. That's why I was already so gung ho about doing it in the first place, because I remember I had the opportunity to be a kitchen manager at ESPN and and some other places. Planet Hollywood, the guy asked me, he basically put me in there like, this is what I want you to do. And, it was an African dude, but he was ready to, put me in there. And I just basically, at that time, I had a hot temper then. And I was just like, no, bro, you're not going to pay me enough for me to work for you here and then have to deal with a problem at home too. So I'm gonna be at home thinking about dealing with this place. I'm just like, no, man. I was like, I come here, do my work, get what you can get from me, and when I leave this place. You know what I mean? I was just like that. I was like, you got me while I'm here.
Right.
I was like, but you do not have me while I'm gone. And and me and this guy was like pretty tight even after that. He actually came to my place and everything. So, this whole thing about entrepreneurship, that was something that we weren't taught. We weren't taught to go out and establish and create a business. We're taught to go out and get a job.
Period.
And, saying when you lazy bum go, that's why some of these dope dealers, did what they did. And you think about that. Like how they infiltrated, the community with that, because as you had the dope hit the system, that's the same time you had Scarface come into play.
Right, that was 83.
Yeah,
83.
So it was ironic, But you look past that before we had any of that stuff. In our community, the community was a big difference. that was part of what started to break down the homes and stuff, and you having different, you're having these increasing incarcerations with us as a people, and all these things. You know what I mean? Like, but at the same time, man, like I was out there and could have been further. We
all were, brother. We all were. It's funny you mention those drug dealers, because you talk to, I wouldn't say the average drug dealer, but those big kingpins. What's so messed up? They can be big time CEOs if they made the switch.
Oh yeah.
And I give you. And what's funny in my situation, the mentors in my life, most of them have been ex drug dealers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the ones actually, I guess drug dealers back in the day, but they use those skills in something legitimate.
Yep.
Yeah, a few of them, a lot of them became my mentors.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I had I didn't get into the cocaine like my cousins and some of my family, but weed was just as big for me back then.
It's funny. I mean, we didn't come on the scene until early '90s, late '80s, early '90s.
It was actually on the scene well before then. It was like you said, late '80s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but before then, it was not a drug. It's the irony of it, It wasn't a drug. If we go out there in the West End and pull up the pavements, the streets, some of the bricks on there are red.
Mm-hmm.
They were made from hemp.
Really?
They were the place across the street from Tassali's.
Uh-huh.
It was a racist place. Black people couldn't be over there.
Really?
Yeah, the Wren's Nest. Look up the Wren's Nest. The history of the Wren's Nest.
Who owns that now?
I forget who owns that now. You know what I mean? Because
that
was no.
Really?
No. But we were invited over there.
Mm-hmm.
And Tassali even spoke with some of the people there.
Mm-hmm.
In the era of Malcolm and Martin Luther and stuff, there was a lot of changes that happened in the West End. That was one of them. Mm-hmm. But the deeper you go back into history in the West End,
mm-hmm.
The more shocked a lot of people would be. You know what I mean? Like how much we were doing out there as slaves. We the bricks.
Mm-hmm.
That was being made with hemp, to make buildings and stuff. And that's why, even though, gentrification is taking place out there, it couldn't be as fast as it would have liked to have been because of the old real estate that's out there.
Mm-hmm.
If you know the West End,
Right, some wealthy people that still has loan.
Yeah.
That owns land out there.
Deep pockets in there. And I mean, even with the building that we're in, the owner there, several other places and stuff, and we've been back and forth with this person about just selling us the place. You know what I mean? So if they're that hard with us, you know what I mean, with seeing it, because
y'all done made that place valuable. Y'all done made that property very valuable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's amazing, man. I mean, but that's the power of entrepreneurship.
Yep.
That's power of entrepreneurship.
Yep.
Last question I'm going to ask you about Tassali. All right. I heard through the grapevine that she got, because the story is she used food to heal herself, right? She was sick and she used food to heal herself.
Yep.
And I heard through the grapevine she was taught that by a Rasta.
Lathium, if Chef Lathium, who's kind of like a doctor to some people.
Okay.
Dr. Lathium, he's a chef,
But he owns a restaurant too, right?
he has a place in the islands. You know, so maybe next time you go to Jamaica, you know,
I might need to go see him.
Yeah, go check him out. You know, the guy who was a chef there last year, he spent $2,000 to go get trained under him. That includes the room and everything, and I think that's for like a week. Then he turned around and spent another $2,000 to go back and get more training. You see what I'm saying? Now, this particular chef makes some of the best vegan raw desserts I've ever tasted.
Okay.
He makes cheesecake. It tastes like cheese. You know, he made a sweet potato pie without using sweet potatoes.
What do you use? Can you tell me?
You see what I'm saying? Like, you know, it was all raw. It was all raw. And it's just like unbelievable. So
basically that's the way you're getting healthy. Just
that's
totally
what I'm saying. Like,
thinking another way of making food.
Exactly. It's so much to it. I mean, when I was so tired with the whole thing of eating meat and just went cold turkey, I didn't know what to do. And my first recipe that I did was kale, garlic, and olive oil. Extra virgin, for olive oil, and it was the way I would do it, because a lot of people don't know that garlic is not really so much as should be consumed like we consume it.
Oh, really? I thought it was healthy for you.
It is. It's a medicine. So you don't take medicine all the time. You know what I mean? Like you don't take, like this all the time. You know what I mean? You take it as needed, as, preventative, as things like this. You know what I mean? Not like, like water, drinking it all the time. You see what I'm saying? So,
see, it's hardening for me because I know that me personally, I'm just, I guess, a mind shift away. And really, it's not a mind shift. It's just getting a habit of, cooking the way I should cook and eating the way I should eat. But I just don't have the time, you know what I mean? Because
This the thing here. We have to defeat time here.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And the first thing to do when it comes to that is actually starting to put the thought in play. Like, okay, my sister, for instance, she doesn't have, she feels like she doesn't have time. But I told her, like, look, pick you a day that you stock up and you do things in bulk, stock it up so that, you have it at your disposal so that throughout the week, this isn't something that you have to stock every day.
Yeah, this meal prep.
And and that's what it is. You know what I mean? Like, and what you'll find is, the more you consistent you are, some things will be so filling for you. You'll find that I just ate this. I ate this portion early today. And I was just going to eat this portion tonight. You know what I mean? Like, versus, you ate this, and the third and stuff, and you got bloated, but you didn't get fulfilled. So once your body has knocked you out, you know what I mean? Because the body's just like, okay, I need to knock this dude out. Give him the itis.
I need to.
So we can go to work here with all this stuff this dude just put on a knock you out, and then you get the itis, then you wake up, and a little while later you're back hungry again. And it gets us into this cycle where we're not nourished and you're not fulfilled. For instance, I made a sandwich, a wrap earlier. Well, not really a wrap. I made a quesadilla earlier. But the smoothie that I made before I did the quesadilla really had me full. I was really kind of like, I really don't have to make this quesadilla now. So I made it and I only ate half of it. Came back later and ate the other half. but the smoothie was filling, you know, and that's something simple. It like I went in there and had that done in a matter of no time. So the thing is like to look at how you can prepare, prep yourself when you're stuck in this 9 to 5 busy schedule where, you know, it's got us running the rat race. You know, that's how these companies look to be profit. You know, because everything's, you download something. You know, the speed wasn't fast enough. I need this. You know what I mean? I want to blink and it's there. You know, like Neo. I need weapons, guns, lots of them.
Right. A little bit's never enough. Well,
exactly.
A lot is never enough. You always need more.
Exactly. And, you know, like I could, you know, we could so talk about, you know, so much how things are connecting. You know, I don't know if you ever saw the movie Lawnmower Man, you know. But,
well, you know what? But it's been so long. That one didn't catch me. Yeah. It's been so long since I've seen
that's
it.
Like
20.
Didn't catch you.
Yeah, 20, 25 years. When did it come out? Late 80s? Yeah, that's probably
that was early 80s. That was early 80s. It was something there, but I just couldn't piece it, you know. And he made a phone call to the whole world. Now you go back and look at
I do remember that part. Yeah,
and it's just like, whoa.
Yeah, I do remember.
He was racing to that, and now you get the Matrix, and you know how do you get out the Matrix to the phone call? You know what I mean? And everybody's like on the phone now. You know what I mean? When you remember, it was a time when
I didn't think about that.
People didn't have phones on them like that. I might have a beeper, you know what I mean? I go to a cell phone and stuff, but you went to your man's house, you just walked to your man's house, so you just went over there. Hey, what's up, dude? You know what I mean? Now you ain't called me. You know what I mean? It's a whole different paradigm, you know. But it's interesting, like how a lot of these movies, you know, connect. You know, if you look back and stuff and you see, you know, things that they were bringing out, you know,
maybe I need to go watch that movie because I forgot that part.
Yeah.
The Lawnmower Man. I forgot that part.
Yeah. He thought.
I remember how he evolved.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember how he. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, so he just kept on evolving.
He kept evolving,
and people thought he was dangerous, but he was actually just evolving.
Yep.
And then at the end,
he was taking in. He was taking in the metaphysical. So he was going more into metadata, you know, but being overwhelmed with it, you know, to the point that he was like, what's the guy off the X-Men, Thanos, you know, it's just like to clean out this world.
That's another I guess misunderstood character.
Exactly, you know what I mean, and he looking for those gems, you know, but those stones.
I love those Marvel movies, man. I mean, that's become like a religion to me just to watch them because so much truth in those movies, man.
Yeah,
so much truth. But it's funny, we knew about Thanos from the comic books.
Yep.
But when he was finally brought on screen,
it brought a whole new light to the character.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the different layers.
He's very, I guess, relevant nowadays.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
It's sort of like he predicted COVID, didn't
he? Yeah. Well, I'll say, you know, to anybody, you know what I mean? Like, this is not a pandemic, it's a pandemic.
Pandemic.
It is definitely a pandemic. They had this planned ever since. You go to the World Health Organization, which, by the way, has a flat Earth logo.
Oh yeah,
the WHO people. I call them the WHO people. Yeah. If you look at, you know what I mean, like you look at all the organizations, and they all have a flat Earth map. It's just not, you know.
Not by coincidence.
It's not by coincidence. You know, the World Health Organization, the UN.
You got your phone. Google that real quick. Let me see that real quick.
Which you want?
Google the World Health Organization flag. Just put because it's funny. I mean, my mindset right now, okay, it's a pandemic. What was the purpose? Just follow the money.
Yeah.
Who got rich?
Who
got wealthier? Amazon.
The staple companies. You know, you think about the staple companies. Mm-hmm. Okay. The staple companies you always look to, like as a wise stock investor, you know, when you start to build your portfolio, then you have a few staple stocks in there. Mm-hmm. You know, these are the necessities. You know what I mean? Everybody needs some tissue to wipe their ass.
Right.
You know, everybody, you know what I mean, like needs water. Mm-hmm. You know, you need, you know, it's these necessity things, you know. Mm-hmm. So these are things where people go back for cleaning. You know, I need to clean, you know what I mean? Like, you know, when you think of it, the simplest way to think about it is when you move into a place and you have to get things. Mm-hmm. What are those things that you have to get? These are your necessities. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So these are the stocks that you look to and say, okay, these are what staple stocks. But, you know, you look at it on the end of these diabolical people. What they did was they prompted them up with this whole thing. So, you know, something like some
stocks.
Right. So like
especially
sanitizers.
The ones who's coming up with the COVID, the so-called COVID cure.
Are you talking about the vaccine or?
Yeah, the vaccine.
Oh man,
whoever's making that, we need to find that out.
That's easy. Okay. Because you look at is who gets the contracts.
Yeah.
These are
there you go.
There are just a few of them. Anybody, a few of them, and one of them that has the contract. I can't think of I can't think of it. These are big companies that have probably been merged with this company, and this company comes out. Merge, okay, like, you know, you can't go to Monsanto's anymore because Monsanto's was definitely going to be sued. You see what I'm saying? That's why you have these commercials, you know, if you use Roundup, you know, the potential of making this money from suing, you know. But some place like McDonald's or something, you know, you sue them. What they do? You see how quick a McDonald's can pop up. You know, they just close that, and they don't
change their name.
Flinch.
Yeah,
they don't even flinch, man. You know.
Well, McDonald's, they don't have to change the name, but I know companies that are smaller but make a lot of money that'll change the name.
Yeah, you know,
like here in Atlanta, I don't know if you know about the old Newell scrapyard.
Are you talking
over there at Hakeville? Close to the airport.
Talking about some. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, they're pretty much a landmark here in Atlanta. But you know, if you go over there now, it's not Newell no more. It's called SA Recycling. And you know why they had to change their name? Because they had over there they hired a lot of Mexican cats.
Okay.
All right, and this one Mexican cat, he was actually operating one of the machines, and I think it was a machine where they lifted the cars because they recycle a lot of cars over there. Okay. And what happened was he was ordered to lift up a car that everybody knew was flammable. It wasn't safe. And what happened was the car blew up, and it killed him. It killed him because he was in the machine. And they shut down for 4 hours. Yeah, they shut down for 4 hours, and they didn't pay that man's family. Oh, wow. So what ended up happening, his family sued him, and to avoid, getting hit real big in a lawsuit, they changed the name.
And it's to erase the whole past of that whole thing. Like, I'm just... it doesn't surprise me. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just like, they look at it like it's business as usual, man, and so it doesn't matter to them. That's it, but let this, let's talk about like, these small businesses that got hit when this pandemic, took place, and how it really, affected a lot of these businesses.
Right.
That couldn't ride this wave because, that was their livelihood. And all of this is to get to a vaccine, to get to the nanotechnology, to get to having you programmed. We start talking about RNA, that is the outer layer of the picture that they token for the coronavirus, which anybody in science, you've seen that picture before. Well before there was corona, it's nothing new. That's the thing. They had it on cans and stuff. Corona,
right?
And
what happened? They changed it to COVID because Corona was losing business.
Well, no. This is the thing, okay, because why did they call it 19? You see what I'm saying?
I don't know. Why do they call it that?
Because it's a new strand. It's the next strand up. You see what I'm saying? Like a lot of people who probably had the virus were already had it in them. Because, a lot of people got vaccinated.
Okay.
Flu, this and that, third, or in the hospital, don't even know they're getting shot with something. You see what I'm saying? And, lo and behold, afterwards, the complex of how this stuff is connected, will probably drive the average person batty like, what? It's almost too much to believe. You know what I mean? Like, you'd rather believe the simple thing. No, man, this is a serious virus. You need to take it seriously. Put your mask on.
Right.
Rather be safe than sorry.
Right.
You know what I mean? When, when you really start looking at this stuff and actually breaking down the components, each thing is playing a part in this. The 5G, like the versus 4G. Why is 5G? Why are they saying 5G is more dangerous? How does that affect a person? We're so unplugged,
desensitized
with what's really going on, and so plugged into what we think is going on. So you're getting radiation waves all the time. They're just at a low frequency level, but you amp up that frequency level. And then, and so it's that low frequency level where, it's hitting us. You know what I mean? I have a computer behind you, but my Wi-Fi is here. How is the computer, like, how is that affecting you? It's just going straight through. You see what I'm saying? You get a phone call, but you don't have it's not connected to a cord. Like the old time dial-up days, those were the golden days for us. We didn't know it.
Right.
When you had to actually pick up a phone and call a person on a cord, just like having your computer directly hooked up to your modem. That used to be the thing. Now, it's everywhere, and everything wireless. Wireless. I got, wireless keyboard, and the mouse doesn't even have a cord. It's no, like you see stuff. It used to be you see like all kind of wires on your desk. It's like, get rid of that mess. Get smarter, And it's the whole thing is to get you on the smart grid. When it's a stupid grid. It's nothing really smart about it. It's only smart in the way that it's looking to eliminate steps for you and to give a feel of something, but you think about like, well, this is what the, alluding to, taking away from your natural and giving you something. So, what you used to get that was natural, you don't get it anymore. And now you have to, you've been giving it to them, getting it from them. So now you need them, So take away your need from natural. Like we're sitting here with water, you know what I mean? Like I got my big, jug. You're just like, when you need some water, it's empty. But you know what I mean? Like you know what I'm saying? Like water. And water is so plentiful here. Water makes up the vast of this planet that we're on, of this plane. This it's known to be 70% of the earth. But yet and still, we're having to go out and buy water. If they had it their way, like you would have to pay for oxygen. That's the so we don't really understand how this nanotechnology is playing in with something like even Prince was bringing out one time when he was talking about the chemtrails. And they were talking about. I saw the
interview. It was I was talking to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley.
Yeah.
He was trying to talk about. See, the problem is it's not so much as what's out there as it is the layers we have in between each other. When what I mean, like you can't give too much. You have to kind of like feed a little slow or fast, depending on who you're talking to, who you're dealing with. Even with the evidence, to prove it. It still depends on who you're talking to, to get the, to convey, because us as a people, we have so many, we've been trained, we've been programmed into the system so much, and it's like, everybody's affected. You don't believe me? Go out and look at how many people have masks on. That's I like at the beginning of this, you probably thought like, yo, we ain't put no damn mask on. Then you're like, oh yeah, I gotta go. It's a slow step to to get people to a point where they look at this as safety and not as stupidity. And as long as they, and it's to identify the conformers and the and the rebellers, those who are being rebellious to this system. The tissue, like I said, that was a test. They can look back and say, okay, we're going to put tissue in here. That has nothing to do with a freaking virus. And
then put it on and advertise it on the media. That's the shortage.
It took forever.
And people go crazy. I couldn't understand that.
It took forever to get tissue back on because the people probably was stealing it. Who was worked at the place.
Right. Right. And now
we just got tissue.
And now you haven't heard about no type of shortage since it.
What the heck was it?
Nothing changed.
What the heck was it for?
Yeah.
What the heck? Working to do, their whole thing was, identifying how many people they do tests like this all the time in order to figure out us. You see what I'm saying? In order to figure out us, order to figure out what to do. You know what I mean? At the same time, like I said, this nanotechnology that they have in these vaccines, and the news is public. It's not the vaccine. The vaccine is okay. The vaccine is one issue because of what it has in it. But then You have the needle itself. That's another issue. That's what I mean, like when I say the layers that these people will go through. You know, people look up the vaccines and they'll see that this has the potential to change your DNA structure. You know, on top of that, the radiation that you get from a 5G speeds up your hemoglobin in your body. That causes the cells to block oxygen getting to your lungs. You know, which was the reason why a lot of people were not necessarily the 5G, but the oxygen from in the effect of the virus on people who've already been vaccinated, you know what I mean, and having to deal with some form of radiation, you know, that they're not familiar with, you know, and you look in Wuhan, China, you know, that was the one area where they had 5G network going on everywhere.
And that's where it started.
That's where the
COVID started.
You know, so you set people up where they have something in their system. You know, I mean, because, you know, you think about some place crazy is that where, you know, like we do credit scores here. They do like a character score there. You know, so you doing something like not voting or like speaking out against the government, that goes against your character credit. So, you know, you may not be able to fly.
It's like that over here too.
Well, it's like that, but it's not that. It's like that, but it's in a different way. You know. And
well, it's all about control, because
it's all about
if
control.
you don't have the best of credit,
Yep.
you know, well, you can't get a job now. Certain jobs require that. I know for a fact, you know,
certain houses. You know, you move in certain places and they require, you know, they're looking at your credit score and stuff like that. When, you know, it used to be a time when they didn't, you know, apartments and stuff like that, you know.
In the military and those government jobs, you got to have a good credit score to move up. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That type of stuff. So it affects. It's the same thing over here too. Just, you know,
it's just a different form.
Yeah, you know, because over there, you know, if you lose face, you know, that's a family thing. You know, over here, if you lose money, that you know. Yeah,
I mean, you're dealing with money in the sense of credential, versus if we had to deal with character,
right?
In the sense of credential. Not to say that we don't, but
which is funny. It should be high over here, but but you can have, you know, the worst character. But if you make a lot of money, if you have a lot of status, you know, you're fine. You can overcome that. Over there, you know, if you don't have the character,
it's a different thing. Like, you know, they actually look with the technology to see like how a person to identify a person. You know,
identify their character. That's mind blowing.
You know, I mean, you
that's
know,
mind blowing.
Imagine, like, you know, like you look at at their monitor, and the names are popping up as the people are walking through a crowd. You know what I mean?
And you can tell the character.
Versus over here with, like, you know, this whole thing with social distancing and 6 feet, and you know what I mean, like they
but then you got those eye recognition, facial recognition technology that pretty much does the same thing.
Yeah, and they even trying to advance it to the point where it can do that with a person with a mask on. You know, so you know, you compare that up with, you know, what they're doing with this this COVID, and like I said, the RNA actually being something that can change your DNA structure. You know, the one thing that I hope most people have noticed is how much construction work has been going on. You know, they popping up poles everywhere. some areas I see they got poles with microphones on, with speakers on.
They've been doing that.
What's going on? You know what I mean?
They've been doing that.
You know, so they can
trips
announce.
What trips me out is they have those fake palm trees with the microphones. Okay, why you got to do that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Yeah. What's going on with that?
You know, why you trying to hide that? You know, why you just put a microphone up there?
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like, what is it? You know, what is that with the palm tree? And why do you have, you know, you think it'd be, you know, like pine cones or something like that, and they got the, you know, the satellite, and I call it the satellite technology because really, you know, for the longest people thought that, you know, if my signal dropped, it was because of the satellite. Your signal has nothing to do with a satellite.
Right.
You know, that's what I mean. Again, like, you know, we have to readjust what we have about the space, you know, which I forgot. I was supposed to be looking up that UN for you, but, you know, we have to readjust what we've been learning about this, about what we're surrounded with, you know, and the better we understand that they are lying to us constantly, and they've been lying to us constantly, you know, more than likely you're more or less probably open to see, okay, well, if they've been lying to us about this, then what's the other side of it? You know, a lot of times when you start to look at the other side of things, you know, you find stuff that they don't want you to find.
Right.
You know, they do not want you to find that. You know what I mean? Just like, you know, I think when, you know, a person was talking back in the, you know, days about, you know what I mean, like talking on a phone and stuff, being like, you know, it's a nut. You know, look at people who they used to call nerds in school. You know, this little nerd, he's like on his little games on this thing like that. You know what I mean? This little nerd, you know. Now nerds make the biggest money now in this world. Now what? You know what I mean? Now the cats is the same cats that was calling them nerds was looking them up to try and figure out, can you tell me how to do this? Can you tell me how to do this and stuff? Because they have no connection. They you know, they have no connection to this new system. You know, that they're being forced in. You know, so you know, one thing, you know, they kick against one thing. You know what I mean? Like years later, it'll be something else. You know, but the biggest thing that they kick against is us being ignorant. You know. Ignorant to like what's going on, man.
I hear you. Well, brother, we discussed a lot of topics here. We definitely got a lot to digest. I think that's good enough for the public. Anything you want to plug?
No, really nothing to plug other than, you know, I would say people really, I would hope they would go to, like something like maybe Deuteronomy 28, 68, you know, read the whole chapter through and just meditate on it for a minute. Don't, you know, so man, this, you know, just meditate on it for a minute, you know, and ask yourself, you know what I mean, like, is this going on with us? You know, because the thing is with us is that, you know, we look for signs. We've always been a lot, you know what I mean? You know, and we talk like that. And something told me you, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like it's like some sign, you know? And it's like, you know, it's like all these things that we have plugged into us that, you know, we don't have the usage of, and we're going about it the wrong ways. You know, dealing in the things that we don't have no business dealing in, you know, and it don't understand that we're throwing ourselves off. You know, we're outside of the net, you know, and looking to get caught up with these other realms that we're diving into, that we're not ready for. We don't, and they don't. These spirits. They could care less about us as a race of people. If you go back to what caused the relic of these spirits to fall in the first place, had everything to do with us, not as black people or white people, but as a species. As a species. So this is the major divide with us, as the different realms that are going on here. You have a realm here that doesn't want to see us
get together.
It doesn't want to see us. Period. Nothing about being together. It's the problem that they were meant to serve and to pay homage to us and not the other way around. You know what I mean? It's like the older being made to serve the younger, And so that whole concept is just like, what? No, I came first. You should be this and that and the third and stuff. You know what I mean? And this is, the Most High didn't have any of it, And this is how you have the fall of them. Now, you think about it like you have the 7 planets, the 7 wandering stars when you read Enoch. Well, you look at the planets out there and you take Earth out the equation. You got 7. You got Neptune, Mars, I know it's Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. You got Mars, Pluto, it's 2 others that I'm missing, But you take Earth
Saturn,
out the you take Earth out the equation, and you have 7, And is it ironic that, it says these, but see, for them to put that into play, they take you away from, being planted and have you wandering with them. You see what I'm saying? Just like we wonder as a people who we are. We wouldn't be having these discussions if we knew who we were.
But these discussions need to be had.
They have to be had.
Yeah, they need to be had.
They have to be had, but we have to realize that, this is part of prophecy. I just say, just ask yourself: is there something out there saying that this would happen to us as a people, that we would be lost sheep? You know what I mean? We have been programmed to think outside of the history that tells us who we are as a great nation, and that's the biggest trick, because we could see a flying saucer go across the sky, and that wouldn't be bigger than the secret of who we are to these people, to this nation. This nation could care less. They know what's going on. They're not confused as to, can we get outside of the firmament? Look at the rockets and all the stuff that they fired up. You know what I mean? They look at the missions like you talked about, Paperclip. Look at, Operation Fishbowl and the other umbrella operations that took place behind it.
Oh yeah.
It's just like, why do they have a treaty? For the Arctic Circle. All these nations are at war with each other, but they all have a treaty.
Yeah. You definitely got us thinking, Brother Ach. I'll tell you what. Well, let me ask you this. If people want to find you, okay, well, you don't have a social media page. If people want to find you, what's the best way to do that?
Well, I mean, you can definitely send me an email. And, I mean, if you need information, or if they have information to share, it's Ocfitz. That's OCFITZ.6772
Gotcha. Yep. Awesome. They can also find you. You're the head chef at Tassali.
At Tassali, definitely.
All right.
Definitely.
All right. So just put it out there. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up on that note. We thank you, Brother Ach, for joining us.
Okay.
And, hopefully this will lead to big and better conversations and opportunities. I'm going to stay on you about,
well,
what I mean? About what was going on up there, because, you definitely got a benefit too. It's not about making money. It's about, establishing that wealth. You're part of that. You deserve to be part of that.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, if in the future we want to revisit some more of these things, I mean, we can definitely dive deeper. I would just need to know. What I mean? Because I wouldn't look up stuff. I would just bring it to you and show you.
Well, I know you're going to do that anyway, man. Yeah, that's how we roll, though. I mean, so that's not a problem.
Exactly. And, and I saw some of the comments. So.
yeah, these ones are wild. I'm going to let you read them. Yeah. All right, guys, that's going to conclude another session of the Answer Game Podcast. If you want to find us, all you have to do is go to Spreaker.com. That's SPREAKER.com/Answer Game Podcast. Also, find us on Instagram. We're broadcasting live right now on IG. Just put answer_game_podcast in the IG search engine and click the follow button. Find us on Facebook as well. Just put the Answer Game Podcast in the Facebook search engine, and you will be able to follow us once you click the follow and like button. Well, that is it. Y'all have a great one. Peace.
Shalom.
That was good.
Yeah, man, I enjoyed that.
That was good. What you think?
Oh, this like I said, it's I don't know who everybody is, but I think somebody in the name they put my name in there, so I'm like, okay, yeah, somebody.
Yeah, I think that I think the brother. Let's see, JVM. That's you. That's your friend.
Yeah,
because he was saying that he had mentioned that you're the best chef up there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's your guy. Gene is that's the guy I grew up with. Frat brother was in there.
Okay.
Couple other people, but yeah, the comedian Peacock. He actually about a month ago we did a session here. Peacock, yeah, that's a wild boy too. But he has some contacts himself.
Okay.
So yeah, you have some people listening in tonight.
That's what's up.
Yeah, you have some people listening. I gotta edit this. I gotta edit this, but yeah, it's some good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Did you see the comments?
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think when we start talking about the earth and stuff, I think that was when it started to get a little heated, but.
It's all good.
We have
a good conversation. We gotta challenge each other.
Exactly. And I welcome that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because I would rather piss you off and cause you to want.
Listen, y'all, appreciate y'all joining. Click the follow button. Appreciate y'all joining, man. Y'all. I'm gonna keep it rolling until IG cuts it off, but yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I would rather piss you off to the point that you look into the information.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean, and find out later and be like, oh wow. Then to go along, you know what I mean, with you just because I didn't want to ruffle your feathers, so to speak. Man, please, what? if we're in a burning house, and I'm coming to you, and instead of telling you that the house is on fire, I'm trying to, because you're so comfortable in it, you don't want to see it go down. So instead of telling you that, not just hang around with you until, the fire gets, close enough to me, And see, some people is gonna be like that, man. Like they, instead of letting people know that the house is on fire, they're going along and get along, and then they might find themselves, in them situations where the door that they was going to use to escape is on fire. While they hanging around there, instead of letting you know, getting you out of your comfort zone, hey, let's get out of here. And if I can't take you with me, I gotta go. You see what I'm saying? That's the type of world we in right now, where we really are
correct. We're afraid of conversation.
Yeah, we are
just growth. You know what I mean? Yeah, which is growth.
Yeah, that's all it is. Like they say, steel sharpens steel.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, you have two solids that are working together. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not. Like the brother asked me about, like, am I part of a camp?
Somebody said it?
Yeah, you said it.
Okay, yeah, I did.
When the brother asked, like, am I part of a camp? That's so common to me. I've heard that so many times because, you got the brothers out there that are preaching this hate doctrine, and that's the messed up part about it, is that instead of realizing that we are, and see, it's one thing, like, looking at you and you're not, of the Hebrew understanding. You know what I mean? It's one thing then, looking at, this person on this side with me of that Hebrew understanding that's sitting up there still talking about, you white folk, y'all gonna burn, you devils, you ain't know what the devil. The devil has never been a human. But these people are so caught up in wanting to get these people back. They're the ones with the itching ears, and they catch other ones with that itching ear. You know what I mean? So we need to get these white folk back, man. I'm telling you, you the kingdom, man. You a motherfucking Hebrew. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, your whole dialogue is out of place. You know what I mean? And then you don't even understand that, our ancestors put a false God in front of the Most High. Wrought them to jealousy. He said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put an ignorant nation over you. And this whole, if you really look at things, you know what I mean? Like, how we look at other nations and stuff. For us, you know what I mean? It is jealousy.
Yeah.
It is jealousy. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like, okay, you made me jealous. And you look at it like, yo, this is, you know what I mean? And all we need to do, instead of pointing at them, is correct ourselves.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That's the big thing on the table here. And so that's why when you look up Hebrew Israelite, they throw a lot of ignorant brothers at you. And if you about this truth and stuff, you know what I mean, if it's like starting to make a little sense to you, they're gonna put that mess in there in front of you to discourage you, so that you look at it like I did when I first ran into Hebrews. I ran into the super brews. I call them the super brews. They're the ones, you know what I mean, you know what I mean, like, and they're out there. Yeah, they're out there convincing these people, you know what I mean, to get on the ground, and they put their feet on them and all that.
Yeah,
I've seen it, bro.
Yeah. Let me use the bathroom. You want some water or something?
Yes, sir.
There's some bottles right behind my desk there, man.
Okay, all right. Why vote for bondage? I know that's right. Are rulers of men, if God is over all. Wow. Time is speeding up. The time is yep. I'm gonna find out who that is. See. Yep. We do not perceive time the same way the Most High does, that's for sure. Okay. I think, let's see. JYM. This is Johnny. That's Johnny. Alright, television is a programmer of lies. Yep. Brother yakking in.
£10 later. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah, good conversation, man. That was very productive.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I see who was texting. It was my brother yakking in, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What'd he say?
He just, well, I saw other texts on there, but I saw he said Aqua's Kitchen.